How important is it to be involved in the community like this?
Very important. I learned it early with Utah State, VCU, both schools. We would do community work regularly. So, I feel like I already have an understanding. It's really important to have the whole city behind you and give back to the city. It's very important for any franchise.
Mike Zarin said that when you were here for your pre-draft workout, you met up with Neemi, had dinner with him. What was it like to see him during the process and now to be teaming with him again?
Yeah, it's great. I played with him my freshman year in college, Utah State. So, it's honestly unreal. It's surreal to see now we're together on the team. It's crazy. But it was great to meet up with him, see him again, and looking forward to playing together as well.
And from second-round picks to undrafted free agents, the Celtics have a pretty strong track record with player development. Does that give you comfort and peace of mind as you try to take the next step in your career?
Yeah, of course. Boston Celtics is one of the best, if not the best, franchise in the league. So it does give me comfort knowing the history behind it, the history of, as you said, undrafted players, second-round picks. It's just my job is to just go out there and do my best and play hard, and everything will play out.
You were telling the kids out there that, the next day after you get drafted, it's like, life goes on. How much does a moment like this, though, kind of just make it kind of hit you that you are drafted and you're a Celtic?
Yeah. It's still surreal, like I say, still hasn't really settled in fully yet. A little weird still, but it's gonna take a couple of weeks. It feels like when I walked in the facility, it still felt a little bit like I'm going around and doing workouts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling. Once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's great.
You have a pretty unique journey going to school in Spain and just how you got to the NBA. How did you get into basketball, and what was that journey like? Did you ever imagine the NBA would actually be within view for you?
I got into basketball. My dad was a ref, and he would go around Europe and stuff like that, do officiate games, and so basketball was just always on the TV. So I would just watch it every day, all day long, and kind of just fell in love with it ever since then. Started playing when I was maybe 7, 8 years old, something like that. So, that's kind of how it started. And then what was the second question?
Did you imagine the NBA would be a possibility for you one day?
Oh, yeah. I knew it was a possibility, but I didn't know how real it was. I just always, just kept my head down and kept working and just, had a mentality of whatever happens, but I don't want to regret my effort in the past and stuff like that. So, but now we're here, so it's crazy.
Did Neemi tell you anything about what it's like to be a Celtic and be a part of this team?
Yeah, he said it's gonna be hard. As a rookie especially, it's gonna be a transition period, and just try to learn as much as I can from coaches, players on the team, vets. Just be a sponge and learn about everything as much as I can.
You were one of the final picks in the second round as well. What were kind of the emotions going into that, and then kind of the relief that you were
going into the draft,
or just all of the final few picks of the second round?
Oh, the final few picks. I didn't really. It was mixed emotion. I didn't even know couldn't even tell what to feel. For real. Everything was moving so fast. Nate, my agent, he was on the phone. Every minute walking away, coming back. So it was kind of chaotic, but. Yeah, but when I got, I got to know that the Celtics were going to pick me, it was an unbelievable, unreal feeling.
Max, have you gotten the chance to talk to Joe, or have any of your new teammates reached out since you've been drafted?
Yeah, we just met with Joe in the morning after breakfast, so had a good conversation with him. He kind of laid it out what it was going to be like, what it's going to take, and stuff like that. So. I spoke to him earlier in the morning.
Do you guys, as rookies, are you familiar with him? Do you see the video clips and just know about his coaching style? How much did you know about him before you got here?
Yeah, like you said, you see the clips on the internet. You see that he's very, very straightforward guy. Says things how they are. Doesn't really sugarcoat anything. So, I'm excited to get going.
What was his message as far as what it's going to take?
He said it's gonna be hard. Just the most important thing is you have to play hard and you know, play for your teammates and just you know, yeah, those are the most important things. Just have passion for the game and just play like it means something to you.
Final question.
Your dad was a ref. Give you a different appreciation for what the refs are doing out there. You ever get mad at a ref and think like, oh, they have a hard job or anything like that?
Nah, not really. Still a player ref. Yeah. Still that relationship for sure.
Thank you, man.